if you're like most creators, you've probably put a lot of time into thinking through your keyword research. And if you've been around video creators for any amount of time, you've heard us talk about how that's kind of just like not a pointless endeavor, but the main value that comes out of that, the main benefit for your channel is actually coming up with better content ideas, better topics and video ideas to make that could actually perform well and grow your channel, because YouTube really doesn't care what keywords you're stuffing into what places, how many times and when. They're looking 100% at viewer signals. In other words, how do people respond to this content? And based on those signals that viewers are giving YouTube about your content, YouTube then makes a determination about who's gonna see this video, where they're gonna surface it, and all those other decisions. So it's really important that we make videos that people actually want to watch. Now, what happens when you have a lot of video ideas and you're like, well, which idea should I do next? Well, today what we want to do is give you several different processes that you could all kind of use together in one, actually, but several processes and steps that you can take to change your keyword research into topic research. And we're going to talk about that today, as well as hear a little bit from Karen about what she did to grow her channel, where we're cranking out 3 videos a week and not growing much, backed off to about 1 video a week to something different on her channel and started seeing growth. We'll hear from her. And also, as usual, wrap up with our power tip of the week, something practical you can do on your channel to see growth right now. All of that and a lot more coming up in this episode.
Hey, welcome to the Video Creators Podcast. You know how you put a lot of time and energy into your YouTube channel for not nearly enough growth? Yeah, we get it. We're here today to help you change that. If you're trying to accelerate your channel's momentum, become more profitable, and change the lives of more people than ever before, today's episode will help you move forward with confidence. So far, our team is responsible for helping clients generate over 20 billion views on YouTube. And now to help you, here's the Video Creators team.
Hello, creators. How are you guys? It's great to see you again for another Video Creators Podcast episode. For today, we're going to talk about doing keyword research and how you're doing it wrong. And we're going to give you some alternative suggestions to do instead, so you can take all the ideas you have and know, like, this is the one I should put time into. Or more accurately, what happens is, like, these are all my ideas, and now I made all my ideas better. And now I've more optimized my idea to perform better on YouTube, as opposed to it just being something in my head that I thought would be good to talk about or make a video about. So we're going to dive into all of that here today. But first of all, let me introduce you to 2 of the YouTube strategists who are on my team. And here with me today, we got Sam and Ingrid. Hello, both of you. How are you guys doing?
Howdy. Doing well.
Hello.
Excited
What's
to be
going
here.
on in Sam's world today?
Not a whole lot. You know, it's funny. Ever since you said the Schmoyer foyer, I've been trying to think of something clever for us, but nothing rhymes with Wittig. It's such a German word. I don't know what to add to that. So maybe I'll think on that.
I know. I'm trying to think. I can't think of anything.
Yeah.
Well, do you have wicker furniture?
Yeah. Actually, I'm sitting in a wicker chair right now.
There you go. I don't know how to make that work.
I don't know how to do that either. Yeah. Maybe next podcast I'll have something better. But
and Wittig in the wicker chair.
The wicker chair.
Yeah.
Yeah, all is good on our end. Things are going pretty well over here. My dog is currently licking my feet, and I'm trying to get him to stop doing that. I guess I don't like that.
While you do that, Ingrid, how's things going on in your world?
Things are good. It's a lovely summer day here in North Carolina, so I can't complain. Just really enjoying the end of the summer right now before the fall comes in, and looking forward to all the cooler weather and the leaves coming down. And yeah.
Vacation you got coming up?
The what?
Vacation? You have vacation coming up?
Oh, I do. Yeah, we're excited. We're thinking of going into the Caribbean, going to an island.
Oh, jealous. Nice.
And your husband.
Yeah. Perks.
Nice. Well,
Perks of being in the travel biz.
yeah, he's a travel agent, so you get a lot of cool, fun trips. Yeah. I'm not in the travel business. I'm in the YouTube business. And things are going well here. We are trying to train our new puppy to be a livestock guardian dog. And we've got little tiny little chicks. And so we're trying to introduce the dog to the little chickens so that he grows up thinking that they're part of our herd, they're part of our family, they're part of, they're part of us. Protect those things from neighbor dogs and raccoons and possums, and we have coyotes and hawks. So,
How is
uh,
I got to know, how's that going so far?
not too well. He likes them a little too much. He's not like trying to hurt them. He's just like, these are so fun, type of thing. So he's way bigger than there. So we just let them like look at them, sniff them, and but we're very careful. But we just want them that when the chickens get older, they'll be able to handle their own,
Yeah.
I'm sure. But yeah, that's where we're at for now. For this week's Creator Spotlight, I want to introduce you to Karen. We've got a little video clip from her telling us just what happened on her channel. She was working very hard, spinning her wheel in the proverbial hamster wheel, doing sometimes 3 videos a week, 20 videos a month, just trying to like, hey, how do I get this thing to work? And she worked with us, went through some training, and then ended up doing about 1 video a week and started seeing traction. So it's not really about the posting frequency as much as it is about some of these other things that she's going to share with us here.
Before working with video creators, I felt like I was a hamster on a hamster wheel, spinning and spinning without getting nowhere. I was on YouTube for 6 years and I was creating so much content, sometimes 3 videos a week, and some months even 20 videos a month. And it was just to be able to keep up with the views and to be able to give content. But truthfully, like, I was just not getting the views. I had then like 20,000 subscribers or 30,000 subscribers on my channel, and I felt like I was moving nowhere. And after taking 30 days first, really changed, that my perspective changed. I learned about value proposition, I learned about target audience, I learned about analytics, and I learned what to do and not to do. And that really helped. I even took video labs, and that course really changed my life. And it really helped me really hone in on everything that I was going to do, what to do in YouTube. And what happened is that I started working smarter, not harder. And then nowadays I only make about 1 video a week, and my videos do way better. My average has become much higher, not only in views, but in retention and in many different aspects of YouTube. And I would highly recommend for anybody that wants to pursue their dreams on YouTube to take the courses, whether it is 30 days or video labs, and really hone in on your YouTube skills, because that really, really helps. And it will help you really work smarter and not harder.
Ingrid, you know Karen personally, right?
Yeah, I do. I know her very well. And her channel is double the size as it was when she was in video labs.
So tell us, reveal what you can about like what she told us a lot about the results, but I want to get into like, but what does she actually do? Like, for people who are like, that sounds great. How'd you do that?
Well, it's funny because she used to do the whole thing that most creators do, throw spaghetti at the wall. What's going to stick? This is working on somebody else's channel, so it must work on mine. And, they got massive views. That's going to be the thing. Versus really thinking about who she was crafting content for. And once she really honed in on her audience, and she started to think about their struggles and their pain points and really craft for that person and ideate topics around that. And then she really focused on titles and thumbnails and creating intrigue and storytelling, all the things that we talk about, all the key viewer signals. That is where people connected. And she also did something else that is a little different, because she is an art channel. So she is what, we call the how-to channel, where you're just looking at the hands. She started to get in front of the camera and started to connect also on a human level with people.
And that made a difference?
Made a huge difference.
All the people who are listening who don't have their face on camera are like, no.
Made a massive difference.
I would say that it's not the guaranteed recipe for success, but it is certainly helpful when someone can feel like they're connecting with you, and showing your face can do that. But you don't have to. There's plenty of successful channels that don't. So
but the thing is though, if I can just say one more thing, she's not on camera all the time. She's on camera very little, but it's the little tiny bit of person-to-person connection that is what has really worked there. I'm really excited for all her growth.
Yeah. Sam, you are now the strategist on a team that works with our students going through video labs. And I know when they first start working through that 8-week process and they're working with you with your personalized coaching and input, what are some of the common mistakes that you're seeing these people make and the common feedback that you feel like you're giving over and over again? Because, I think it's one thing for us to hear, like Ingrid just said, really dial in on your target audience and really figure that. And people are like, yeah, yeah, yeah. Men between ages of 18 and 55 who own a motorcycle or something, right? Is that enough, or what's just the common advice? Because I don't think that's specific enough. Like, if I was working on that person, I would go way deeper than that. Yeah, so just help people out who are like, I think I have a good idea. What are the common things you find yourself saying to help them go deeper?
Yeah, I think the first thing that usually tends to be a little bit of a roadblock is it's being everything being a cognitive level, what focused. As far as like the channel as a whole, it almost kind of causes like an identity crisis sometimes because they're like, I've never even thought even further from that, even if it's like a cooking channel or something. And it's like, well, like, why do you do what you do? Like, why, if I tapped you on the street today and asked you, why should I subscribe to your channel? And if the answer is just, well, I teach you how to cook really good food. And it's like, yeah, that's great. But I mean, thousands of other creators are doing the same thing. Like something needs to help you stand apart and you need to be able to reach that specific group of people. So like you said, if it's an 18 to 50 or an 18 to 60 age range, and it's kind of this approach of like, well, let me just cast out this really wide net. And I really would love it if anybody just showed up. It's the kind of thing where like, you're never going to connect on a deeper level with that right person, where if you did get more specific, even though it may feel counterintuitive, like you're excluding people, but if you are able to get more specific for maybe the 18 to 25-year-old, and you can identify like, okay, well, this person's probably a young professional, maybe they just got out of college and they have never learned how to cook in their life. And then now you can specifically make content of, actually learning how to cook food that tastes good and maybe on a budget for that age range. You can get a little bit more specific with how you frame your channel and your content to make that person feel like, oh my gosh, this is for me. Like they are meeting me where I'm at in my walk of life. And that just leads to so much better engagement as a whole.
Yeah. And I think another thing that really helps is not just making it more specific. That's certainly, definitely part of it. There's another part too that's like, what are they feeling emotionally? Like in the cooking scenario, like why do they want to cook? What's driving them to want to watch this type of content on YouTube? What problem are they trying to solve? What's at stake for them if they don't solve this problem? Or if it's like the motorcycle people, like what do they believe about bikes or community or something that brings them to this, like this stuff? So, when you said what stood out to me is when you said it's like about connecting with this person, understanding their story and the emotions behind what they're feeling and the problem they're trying to solve, even if it's just to have a good time and feel like they're hanging out with someone they feel like they could be friends with online, that's still solving a problem and doing a job. So it's not just demographic info we're poking at. We're like, what is this person's story? Like you said, Sam, how do you get deeper into like what they actually want and the value proposition, make that more clear, but also like merging that with or attaching that to, I guess I should say, to the story that person's living when they come to your content on YouTube. So it's not just demographics and psychographics. It's a lot more just like, who is this person when they, so like, just like you said, when they find us, they're like, oh my gosh, I feel like you know me. I feel like you understand me. I feel like you made this video for me. And you're like, well, I did. And I put a lot of work into figuring that out,
And that's exactly what Karen did too. So she just tells the story.
That's great. Yeah. If you guys want to work with Sam in Video Labs and go through the same experience that Karen went through and go through this 8-week process with Sam, he's there to coach you 100% of the way, not just for 8 weeks in the course, but 12 weeks, because you get 30 days to a better YouTube channel included for free as well. And what we're going to do in there is we're going to walk you through this process that we have used thousands of times with creators to help them grow, to help them get to the next level on YouTube. You're going to learn about how the algorithm works. and how to better optimize your content for YouTube search and discovery systems, primarily around their viewer signals, not just around keywords and things like that. And then you're also going to learn, like, all right, how do I actually make content that's more engaging with people, kind of like Karen did. And then you're going to talk about, all right, well, how to use all your data and your analytics to spot more opportunities for growth. And so that how does your data inform your strategies so you continue to improve going forward? All of that with proven assignments and exercises that you're going to be doing on your channel with Sam and a whole community of other creators. If you want to check it out, go to videocreators.com/videolabs, and you can check it out, see if it's right for you or not. You can find out a lot more there. But we'd love to have you in our group coaching program with Sam and an amazing community of other creators who are all moving forward and taking new ground so they can reach more people and change their lives on YouTube. So go to videocreators.com/videolabs, and Sam will see you there in just a minute. You've heard it once, you'll hear it said again, and probably many more times here, that the way YouTube surfaces and ranks content on YouTube is by viewer signals, not necessarily keywords. And so when you're doing your keyword research, like, we've had plenty of episodes about why that doesn't work and why it can lead you down a wrong path, because it leads you to thinking more about your content in a more sterile way of information and instead of the way you should be thinking about it, which is like connection. Like Sam said earlier, it's like, how do we create content that connects with the right person as opposed to just content that talks about the right topics or words or something like that. So we want to I'll just say it right now. I want you to change in your mind, stop thinking about keywords and just change that language in your head to either topics or audience. Either one, and we're going to talk about both of those here today. So if you have a whole bunch of different ideas and topics and things you could talk about, how do you know which ones are worth your time? Because I do think there's some things you can do with research that can help direct your strategy and help you make informed decisions and help you better optimize your content before you publish it, which is always way easier to do than after you publish it. Because after you publish it, you can only change like title, thumbnail, and that's really the only two things you can change that will make a difference, right? But optimizing your content is what's key here. That hooks people's attention, holds their attention, gets them to the end. You can't change that after you publish it. Okay. So I got a couple different processes you can go through here. Ingrid's going to share some. Sam will share some here as well. I'll dive into one of mine first here. This is a process that we recommend if you want to do research on YouTube, and ideally you have an idea or at least several ideas that you're like, I could do this video, that video, that video. Which one do I want to do first? Or I have this video, I think it could be a really big video, but I want to make sure I get it right. Like, I don't want to put time into this video and then find out later that I wish I would have done this differently or something. If I had just put a little bit more time up front into doing some research here. So one of the ways I would recommend you do topic or ideation research is I would go to open up, if you're using Chrome, Google Chrome, go to an incognito window, or if you're using Safari or whatever, just go to a private browser of some way where you're logged out. And I mean, YouTube's smart enough to know, they're not like, oh, we have no idea who this is, but you'll get more vanilla, less personalized results this way. So go to an incognito window, go to youtube.com. And then you're just going to search for your topic idea. Just type it in the search bar at the top, and you're going to get a results of a list of results. And I want you to just look at the top videos there. And what I recommend you look for is a couple things. Number one, I want you to look for videos that have high views on channels that have low subscribers. And what you're gonna hear this a lot now throughout me talking, and when Sam and Ingrid share theirs too. Really what this comes down to, if I'm going to boil it all down to one principle, it is look for patterns. All about pattern recognition here, right? So if you like puzzles and things like that, like Sudokus or whatever, hopefully you're going to enjoy these assignments, okay? So you're going to open incognito window, go to YouTube, do your search, and then you're going to look for videos that have high views on channels with low subscribers. And I want you to look for patterns and pay attention to their titles and their thumbnails. And I want you to look at the opening seconds of that video. In other words, the title and thumbnail sets an expectation. It somehow affirms to this viewer enough that I'm going to get what I'm looking for here in this video, so that you click, and the opening seconds need to reaffirm for that viewer that yes, what you clicked expecting to get is coming in this video. Okay, so let me use an example here. Let's say you want to do I actually just did this earlier as like an example myself, just to kind of refresh everything, make sure everything was still working the way it always has before. And I searched for I'm gonna do a review about a certain mattress, like a purple mattress. So I typed that query in at the top. All the top videos there have I'm noticing they have purple in like the color purple, but also like you can clearly see the distinguishing features of the purple mattress there, and there's a person on them. So I'm like, okay, so when I take my thumbnail, what I'm learning here is a pattern is like it should be me with an obvious, clear photo of the product in this case. But it's not just like here's a mattress. It can't look like any normal mattress. It has to look like the purple mattress, because you cut that thing apart, it looks very different, right? So I got to figure out how to get an image that looks like that. And then I click play. They all start with someone talking on the mattress. All right, cool. When I go make my video, that's another pattern I can look for. Is like, let's, I gotta, the mattress has to be front and center and clearly obvious. Then instead of me just talking about like, welcome, today we're going to talk about this mattress or whatever, right? So look for those patterns. And then when I'm watching the video number 3, I use the vidIQ Chrome extension. This is my favorite part of their tool, actually, is you can see the historical data of the video you're watching. And I'm looking to see if that video is still gaining momentum or if it's just kind of flat or dead. If it's flat, I don't really feel like this is a video I should be trying to emulate. I want to emulate videos that are getting traction and are getting growth, right? So if I'm looking at this video, I find one that's got high views on a channel with low subscribers, and I see that it's still getting momentum, and each industry is going to have a different standard for what momentum is. If smaller ones might be like 10,000 views a day might be really good. Others might be like, it's actually a million views a day is kind of like my minimum standard or whatever. Kind of depends on your needs. But you'll get an idea after looking at a bunch of these videos of what a good standard might be for this subject, this topic that you're looking to do. All right. And then number 4, I'm studying now the titles and thumbnails of the videos that are being suggested to that video I'm watching as well, because I want to start understanding, what does YouTube think this person wants to watch next? What do they like? What is the next thing that they care about? What's the main question they have in their head after watching this video? What leaves them unsatisfied that they won't feel like they want to keep watching? I'm just trying to think like YouTube's putting together a viewing session here for this person, and so I want to get some clues from that of what's happening. I might also look at the comments of that video and like, what are some of the questions people are asking that are going unanswered, or like the top questions that have all the thumbs up that would like, oh, this would be really important for me to include in my content when I make it. So I'm just trying to like, what does YouTube seem to be predicting the viewer wants here? And sometimes it's actually not the match. So maybe it's like, how to get better sleep at night. Like, oh, is that like a better topic, right? I don't know. I'm going to be looking at some of those. I'll click into that one and I'll do the same thing again. Title, thumbnail, opening seconds, historical data. Is this video still growing or not? Or the comments, and so I'm really just looking for patterns here of the videos that are performing well, that are growing outside their existing audience because they have substantially more views than subscribers. What are those patterns? And I'm taking that information and putting it into the content that I'm thinking about making. And then I have to make a decision. Finally, here, the last step is, do I want to like compete with like ranking number 1 here? Or are some of these videos so well established, they've been here for years and they're still gaining crazy amount of traction? I just want to be like the next suggested video to those videos. Then I think there's an opportunity for you to decide, like, do I want to be the thing that answers the question that they had that wasn't answered? Or do I want to like compete one-on-one? And you don't necessarily have to choose one option versus the other, but I think it brings some clarity to crafting the video that you're making. Just because a video is number 1 doesn't mean it can't be unseated and another one can't take its place. It happens every day, all day long for lots of people. So that's kind of like the YouTube approach there. You guys have anything to add to that?
I'm curious. so we have a wide range of creators that listen to this in the audience. And I'm curious, what would you say to somebody who's maybe a really small channel versus somebody who's a larger channel with this tactic?
I don't think the size of the channel matters. Um, let's just say it's a really small niche, and the biggest channel in your niche
Hmm.
is like 100,000 subscribers. Okay, well now you know what the threshold is. It's not like it's a so for a video with high views, low subs for you might be a channel with 3,000 subscribers, but the video got 50,000 views. Well, on someone else's niche, they could 50,000 views on a channel with 3 million subscribers is like not even one worth evaluating, because that certainly didn't break outside its audience. It actually bombed, right? So you got to look at these things in comparisons and ratios, not necessarily just like straight numbers. Answer your question?
Yeah, absolutely. I was just thinking for the people listening, because I think that it's just a very natural tendency to say, okay, well, I got to find a video that has millions of views and
Yeah,
low
good point.
subscribers. So just wanted to put it into context a little bit for everybody.
Yeah, good. Thank you. Yep. Another thing I would recommend looking at as you're doing this this research for this video, is go to google.com/trends and do your search queries there as well, the topics that you're looking at. Once you go there and do a query, there'll be a drop down at the top of the graph there. Change it from web search to YouTube search and enter your different video ideas. You can put multiple ideas and overlay them on top of each other. And this is really just telling you, does this idea still have momentum or not? Is this still a topic of interest? Are there still people who are interested in looking at this type of thing, or is it kind of dying off? And I put more stock into that first process I mentioned than I do in Google Trends, but from a very high, because I feel like the first process helps me I understand better how to more tangibly make a better video now based on the patterns that I'm recognizing from that research. As opposed to trends is more like, yeah, people are still interested or not. So it's maybe good. So I looked at the purple mattresses. I saw like, yeah, this is still gaining momentum over time, as opposed to like, nope, it's just kind of like declining. And so I'm like, okay, well, maybe let me look at this other idea I had instead. Right. And so I'm looking for like a combination of multiple things, not just one thing or another. So there's a couple ideas for me. Ingrid, I know you do more directly with YouTube analytics. How do you make decisions about content there?
Yeah, I think that there's some really cool tools that YouTube has given us in the last couple of years. One of them being, if you go to your analytics section back in YouTube Studio, and on the audience page, there's two sections there. One is other channels your audience watches, and the other one is other videos your audience watched. And there's a couple pages there, usually up to about 15 different videos that they rotate in and out, which is really good because this gives you kind of an idea of what's going on in your niche, kind of, and what are the things that your people are watching. And is there a pattern that you're seeing amongst any of that? I find that when I work with creators one on one, a lot of times I will go look at the competitors and I'll analyze their channels. And is there some pattern that I see emerging amongst titles and thumbnails? Is there a pattern among topics specifically? And what's hitting and maybe what isn't? And sometimes you can get really great ideas from that. The only kind of thing is, if you're a newer creator and you don't have a lot of data on an audience, some of these may not populate for you. And then what I would do is go to other channels. Kind of, Tim, you kind of touched on this earlier, looking at comments on bigger videos. There are so many wonderful ideas. What are the patterns amongst the comments that you're identifying, not just on your own channel, but on other channels as well? And that could be a really great tool to use for topic ideation.
Great. And Sam, if someone's got more of like an entertainment channel and they're like, well, I'm not doing search traffic. I'm not doing, I don't know, like no one's going to be searching for and I'm not for my content. I just want to make a video about my kid having a fun day at the park or something like that. What would you recommend a process for them to consider?
Right. Yeah. Yeah. So I'd say for that person who maybe they have more of, like you said, like entertainment or like a lifestyle or vlog type of channel where you're not necessarily trying to like find the right you're not trying to target search really. I think ultimately, like, you can take a lot of these similar concepts. I think it starts with identifying your target audience and getting really specific and clear with who am I going after? Who is this person? And from there, you can actually go find other channels out there who maybe share a very similar or the same target audience as you, and kind of take that same concept of, let me just look through their channel and just see like what topics, what video ideas are hitting above their subscriber count. So like what is discoverable that they're doing. Maybe it's more of like a seasonal type of thing. But really kind of touching on some of the same things that you guys have been saying as far as patterns and just kind of paying attention. Like, it's not us saying go copy these other creators and do exactly what they're doing. But it's more like, what do you notice? What are the videos for the other channels that share your target audience? What videos are they doing that, those videos are going out and getting more views than subscribers?
I remember doing a consultation with someone, and they were frustrated that this other channel was just copying them. Like any of their videos that went big, this other channel would just do the same thing. And they didn't really know this person, but they were frustrated that this person and was getting similar results. And like, but we're working hard for it, and they're not. They're just copying us, and we hate that. Is there anything we can do about it? I guess I don't really want to answer that question necessarily, because there's not really anything you can do about it. But I do want to point out kind of what you said, Sam, is like, you're not copying somebody. Like, this isn't about like, that's just kind of like bad blood and not very creative, right? But I think what we are talking about is just look for the patterns, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. I think too, just to add to that, I think it boils down to what is intriguing to your target audience. I think a lot of times when we talk about titles, thumbnails, and like, yeah, you create intrigue, spark curiosity. A lot of times the first question I get is what is intriguing? Like, how do I spark curiosity? And so I think that can also spark ideas for you when you go look and not copy exactly what they're doing, but just like Ingrid said too, go look at the comments. Like, what is intriguing that they're doing that is causing this huge discoverability for these videos? And how can you notice some of these patterns and just get some ideas for how can you target these topics that are going to be, sparking that curiosity for your person that you're going after?
Yeah, one of the things also that we didn't even bring up is surveying your audience. We do that every year, and asking open-ended questions so that you're getting, maybe hitting some of those pain points. And that might spark a lot of ideas for you in topic ideation to then go research even further. But now you're talking specifically to your audience and what they care about. And that can be very powerful.
And the good thing, the most valuable parts about doing the survey is we're not asking them what videos you want us to make. We're being like, what are you trying to do? What are you trying to accomplish? What things are holding you back? And we get to hear them describe the problems in their language, the words that they use, the emotion that they feel. And using all that as elements that we use to inform our content is really important as well. So, but yeah, I mean, I wouldn't copy, but there is some sense, I think, of imitation is the greatest form of flattery. I don't know if a lot of people know this, but when I first got started on YouTube seriously, I was basically just copying Philip DeFranco.
Really?
I loved watching his content, and he would stand up and he would just talk about the news and what was going on, and I loved watching his content. And so I was like, okay, I want to do that, but I'm going to do it about online video news, like what's happening in the YouTube world and video industry. And so I did that. What was that? That was like 2011, I think. Was when I started the Real Real Web on a different channel that doesn't exist anymore. But yeah, so like I got started. I wasn't like doing exactly what he was doing, but I was watching him and doing like, and I imitated him. And then over time it became my own. And now I don't think we're, very much that similar, but that's how it started. And I think that's okay. There's a lot of, this is going to sound like a humble brag. I don't mean it this way, but just an example that came to mind is I made a video years ago called how to grow with 0 views and 0 subscribers. And that video went to like 6 million views or something
Yeah.
like that. Now almost every YouTube educator out there has a video with the same title, different
Yes.
thumbnail, but same title. And it's great. Like, I'm not offended by it. I think it's smart, right? So I do something similar. I don't usually take the exact same title, but I'm not offended that they did. So I think that you just gotta like look at what's working, look at the patterns, and then put that into your content, not just title and thumbnail, but into the actual content itself, so that people connect better, as opposed to you making the content and then later watching a few videos and being like, if I watched these, done some more research, I would have made a better video. I promise you, the more you do more research, you'll make a better video. You do an extra hour of work up front, maybe 2 hours of work up front before hitting record, you'll fundamentally get a better and different video than you first intended to make. And you will get far more traction with it than you otherwise would have gotten.
Wise words. I have a question,
Mic
though.
drop.
Do you own a
Yeah.
purple mattress?
I don't, but my wife and I currently have a
I had to
queen.
ask.
And as we get older, we're thinking more and more king.
Do
so
it.
yeah, I know that's what I keep hearing, but I'm also like, I don't know. Then I gotta get a whole new bed frame and build a new headboard, and which I don't mind doing, but it's just like, I don't know. We'll get to it.
You need a new project.
For this week's power tip, I want to point out to you guys that YouTube has been rolling out some new and improved things in their analytics. The engagement and reach tab were more recently combined into what they're now calling a content tab. Happened a few months ago, but wanted to point it out to you because not everyone is living in their data all day, every day. And on the content tab, you can now easily filter different stats based on content type. Like, you can separate your views from videos, from your shorts, separated from your live stream, separated from your community post. And you can get and now you can separate all that data and see exactly what's working and what's not working. Maybe not exactly, but we're much more further ahead now. So if there's something you can do to grow your channel, is to go to your content tab in your analytics and start filtering based on content types and start getting familiar with how different types of content on your channel perform compared to each other, instead of just, looking at the overall and be like, okay, it's working or it's not working, because that overall is really misleading. A lot of the times you're not really getting a good idea of what's happening, and you can miss some really valuable insights. So go check it out. Link to more details about that in the show notes down below. Also go to videocreators.com/volley, where you can join our community of creators. We're talking kind of like an after party here about things questions we have and further comments and things we want to dive into together regarding this content. We'd love to talk with you there. There's a couple 700-800 creators there already, and we'd love to have you join us there and join the conversation. So videocreators.com/volley. We'll see you there, and we'll see you guys again next week for another Video Creators podcast episode. See you guys then.